Delicious. Right, get yourself comfy, mate. You comfy?
I'm comfortable.
You're comfy. You sound out of breath.
I'm out of breath. I'm fucking running back and forth trying to do these cameras. Get your
You're doing a very good job at it. But cool. Right, you ready?
Ready?
You ready?
All good.
Cool. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Average Joe's podcast. I'm your host, George, and I'm here again with co-host, Harry. He's back with the thumbs up.
Thumbs up, yeah.
Today we have got a good friend of mine on. We've known each other a short space of time, but it's been a good, what did you say, couple of years?
About that, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years now. So, welcome Nixy to the podcast.
Hello.
AKA Mr. Sneakers Prep.
I am indeed.
You are Mr. Sneakers Prep. So, we'll touch base on how we know each other. So, we met through Humour Collectives, which was my business at the time.
Yeah.
I was branching out into opening my little store, and I wanted somebody who restored and prepared shoes. Is that the right way to describe what you do?
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
That's where the prep part of it comes
Yeah.
from.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I want somebody in Kent, but somebody who's shit hot at it. Yeah. So I think I put a post up on Instagram and said, like, can people recommend me? And I was flooded with you. So I was like, well, it looks like that's the guy I need to go to. So yeah,
good.
yeah. So we got in touch and we met up pretty quickly after that, didn't we? And we was like, right, let's roll with it. So how's business going?
Yeah, good. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. Obviously, at the time I was still working full time.
Yeah.
Which I was doing that on the side and a lot of late nights and having children around and things. Which we'll get onto a bit later.
Side hustling's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. So it was good fun. Like I say, I just kind of got into it from doing my own shoes, and then it just ended up me doing some other people's, and then it escalated quite quickly. Yeah. So it's been good fun.
No, yeah, it's I remember like going through your Instagram and seeing like your work, and I was like, yeah, that's fucking good. So I don't know if I just like got you on board straight away, or whether I actually gave you a few of my pairs first. I think you've definitely cleaned a lot of my shoes.
Yeah, I've done a few now. That's for sure.
Yeah, you definitely have. So, and then you came down to the launch of my shop, as well at the time, and you was cleaning shoes on the spot. Yeah, it was wicked. And then we kind of had like a little setup between us, didn't we? Where I would just collect shoes for you, drop them off.
Yeah, it was bang on.
Everyone cleaned. Yeah, it was good. So, when did you decide to make the jump to going full time? Because that's what you do now, isn't it? Just full time.
It is now full time. So it was after the first lockdown. Obviously, I was working from home with my previous job, and I didn't particularly enjoy it, should we say?
Yeah.
And when I went back to working, I just really, really didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not getting any younger, so I've got to make that jump now.
Yeah.
It could be never.
Yeah,
and I'll
that's
end up doing a job that I literally can't stand for quite a while.
Yeah.
And you don't want to live your life like that. I think when you get to my type of age, you realise that, you sacrifice some things for a benefit. So that's what I had to do.
Yeah. No, I do remember like conversations that we had about at the times like you was not enjoying the work that you were doing at the time.
Yeah.
And it was having a real like effect on your mental health as well, wasn't it? As well.
Yeah, massively. It was quite a strange scenario because obviously, again, we'll get onto it. I've been through quite a few different things, and at the time, everything was pretty sweet, and it kind of hit me from nowhere, and then it did affect my work performance. Not gonna lie. And then when we went into lockdown, obviously working from home, it all kind of amalgamated together, and I just wasn't in a very good place.
Yeah.
And when I was doing that, it kind of made me think I've got to work hard on myself to realise what's the right direction to go in.
Yeah.
And I then eventually come to a conclusion, I've got to do this full time.
Yeah. I remember
there's a couple of other things that happened as well at work.
Yeah.
Which happens when you're not doing so well, should we say?
Yeah.
Which helped me make the decision.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think it was definitely the right decision.
Yeah, I remember many doorstop conversations during the lockdown of us two there. Yeah, just like talking about our big plans and you made it a reality, and it was great to see you make that jump because. Clearly you're doing well from it. So and it's what you enjoy doing. So
yeah, I love it so far.
No, that's great. Let's talk about who Nixy is. Like, who is Nixy?
Yeah.
So I know the sneakers prep Nixy.
Yeah.
And I've known you for a couple of years, but I don't really know who you are as a person. Like, where did you grow up? Like, what was you like as a kid? Like, family life? Like, how was your family set up? Like, growing up?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So, Nixy, in case you don't know, is Nick C.
Yeah.
So my actual name is Nicholas.
Yeah.
I very rarely use that unless I'm in trouble from her indoors or my mother. Nicholas. Professionally, I go by Nick most of the time. But yeah, Nixy come along as a nickname when I was in my early 20s when I worked at somewhere and someone else was called Nick. So I was Nick C.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, well, it just sounds like Nixy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it ended up being Nixy. And yeah, I've just run with it since I was literally about 20 years old.
That suits you.
Yeah, so it's different nickname.
Yeah. But it makes so much sense.
Yeah,
like, now you've explained it.
A lot of people say,
so much sense.
A lot of people are like, Nixy, what's Nixy? Like, it's a girl's name, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it's just Nick
I'd
C.
have never thought that.
Because my last name begins with a C.
Yeah. No,
that's
brilliant.
literally all it is. So now I've got a bit older, I try and abbreviate a little bit more to Nix.
Yeah.
Because then it's almost like Nick and Nixy into one. So yeah, I seem to go through quite a few different transitions. Which again we'll get onto, like the haircuts. I think you've seen me with about 4 different haircuts.
Yeah, literally we had that conversation on the way up here.
But yeah,
where did you grow up?
Raynham, Medway, Parkwood boy, from young. Interesting growing up because at the time, obviously late 80s, early 90s, we was the only non-Caucasian, should we say, in the area really. Like at my primary school and things like that. Didn't really have any problems with it. A couple of little things, but nothing serious. It was just more like people not understanding why you looked a bit different. Nothing too bad. And then I went to school in Chatham.
What school did you go to?
St John Fisher I started off at.
I went to St John Fisher.
Did you really?
Yeah,
I
didn't even know that.
I think there might have been a few years in between that.
Yeah, possibly.
But yeah.
What's the age gap? How old are you now?
So I'm 36. I'm going to be 37 this year, which makes me feel a little bit sick.
27.
Yeah.
So I'm 28 in a few weeks. So yeah, we've got a few years between us. So I definitely wouldn't have been there. Sorry, mate.
Thinking about it, by the time you left school, I think I probably almost had a child. But it feels like. But, so I went to St John Fisher. I then changed over to Chatham Grammar halfway through. Yeah. Because my mum decided I wasn't doing as well as I should. And to be fair, I did all right, got my GCSEs. Yeah. I then went and did music technology at Canterbury College, which was good fun because at the time I thought I was going to be a massive garage DJ and producer, as me and all my mates did, pretty much. Came out of college and, which will bring us on to our next subject. Yeah. Ended up having a child quite soon after. Yeah. And ended up working for the rest of my life.
What was your first job?
So at the time, I was actually working in Bluewater. Yeah. For an old shop called Eisenegger. They used to sell like weird clothes that were like.
You might remember it because you're 30. So you may have been knocking around Bluewater at the time. Do you remember it? What was it called?
Eisenegger. So they used to sell coats and like clothes that were like originally £200.
Were they like Parker jackets? Like big I had one.
So
I had
they would
one
say
as a kid, actually. Yeah.
They always had a closing down sale. Yeah. Because it was a closing down sale, not closing down actual.
Yeah. I remember it had loads of compartments on the inside. Like, I loved that coat.
Perfect.
That was my childhood.
Perfect for guys like you, I hear, George. We won't talk too much about that. But they used to have like jackets that were was £200, now £20. Yeah. Type of like silly sales and that. So I did that. Didn't enjoy that. Ended up working with my best friend at his Chinese takeaway for a long time. Yeah. I did that full time, pretty much. I also worked at Halfords. Yeah. Because I was into my cars and things.
I was going to say, is that where your love for cars started, or did you lead there because of your love for cars?
So I was into cars from the age of about 14.
Oh, really?
To be fair. Like me and my mates used to dream how we was going to all buy Vauxhall Novas and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're of that age. And so I was already into cars, and it kind of helped me get the job there, because part of my interview was like, let me come and have a look at your car. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty decent. Because at the time I had a KA that was like pretty bad boyed. As bad boy as a KA could be. It was black and all blacked out. So, a bit different. I wanted to be a bit
Spray
different.
painted hubcaps.
No, it was decent. It had like Corellas and that. It was all right. It looked pretty gangster. As gangster as it can look anyway.
Yeah.
But, so from there, I think I ended up in a recruitment agency for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Then I ended up in insurance, which is where I was for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing office work for a long time, which
Yeah.
was never really my forte. But like I say, I had children
It was a way
relatively
of
young.
providing, yeah.
Yeah, so I had to work.
So
doing
how
something.
old were you when you had your first?
19.
19, yeah.
So my son, definitely changed my life at the time.
Yeah.
Being brutally honest, I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
But it happened, so I had to deal with it. But obviously it meant going into kind of paying rent and all that type of stuff, being an adult pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, I managed to do quite well, because I worked full-time, and then I also worked at the Chinese takeaway full-time, so I was almost doing 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Just to pay the bills, and also to have my own money to do what I wanted to do. Because despite being in a co-parenting situation at the time, or I suppose relationship, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I was still very independent, so I would still go out, 3 or 4 times a week doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Whether it be the lovely place of Amadeus on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then maybe casino on a Friday, because at the time I used to have garage and drum and bass
Yeah.
nights. I wouldn't just go there normally, honestly. And then Saturday night, me and my mates used to go like Southend, in our cars and stuff. So I still did a lot of things that I wanted to. But like I say, I worked my backside off to do it.
To be able to do that.
But it meant that I never really gave myself a head start for life now in my 30s. So I'm kind of starting again now, but that's how it is.
It's never too late to start, though.
Exactly
That's the thing. But how old were you when you had your first?
25.
25, yeah. So obviously a bit older, but still young. Still really young.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like what Nixy said, like you just get chucked in the deep end. You're never really prepared for it, so just got to grab the ball by the horns and just make the most of it. Really, haven't you?
Just run with it.
There's so many books and like teachings and stuff to tell you how you should be doing certain things, but it's just trial and error, innit?
There's books and teachings for everything, but until you're actually in the situation,
oh yeah, absolutely,
you never know how you're going to deal with it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but so first came along, and what name? Dylan? Is
Dylan,
it? Dylan, yeah. So
Dylan.
Dylan came along first.
Yeah.
And then, how old were you when you had your next child?
22.
And was that with the same mum?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Ella.
Yeah.
Again, I was a bit unsure, but again, it happened.
Yeah.
So when it happened, I was, over the moon. I was like, boy and a girl.
Yeah, of course.
I've had them young. That's me done.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I'm
the older protective brother and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. By the time I'm like 35, they'll be old enough. I can do what the hell I want.
Yeah.
When I want.
Yeah.
Leave them. Go on holiday. Whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't quite work out that way. But yeah, it was at the time in terms of the children. It was it was all good. I loved being a dad.
Yeah.
Again, we'll go on to it a bit more in a minute. But obviously, had good times and bad times. Being a father, obviously being a young father, learning on the way, I guess.
Yeah. On the job.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, for me, my mum is from Barbados.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the type of upbringing I had in many ways.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, what was home life like for you? Like, parents quite strict and.
So my father wasn't that strict.
Yeah.
But my mum. Oh God. Yeah, she was strict, to say the least. I used to compare her to the lady in Tom and Jerry, and when she tells Thomas off, that was me. But instead of Thomas, Nicholas, you've walked through the house too fast. Not that bad, but there was no messing with my mum.
Yeah.
She was strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
Strong, independent black woman.
Yeah.
Of course. In an area predominantly white.
Yeah.
So as I've got older, I understand some of her reasonings a lot more.
Yeah.
But at the time, being honest, I didn't enjoy all of it.
Yeah.
my parents separated when I was about 13.
Yeah, that's a difficult age as well.
Yeah, so maybe 14 because I had just gone into my secondary school ish around that time.
Literally exactly the same time as me.
Yeah, so your parents separated at the similar age.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so at the time it wasn't too much of a big deal to me. I just kind of dealt with it. And then my father died about a year and a half, 2 years later because he was quite a bit old.
Didn't realise that.
Yeah. So it's one thing that a lot of people don't know because I don't really openly speak about it. Just for the reasoning that it doesn't really come up into conversation.
Yeah.
And it's been so long now that, before he did pass away, our relationship did break down. Not that I disliked him or anything like that. It was just a little bit of distance that ended up happening.
Did he move out the area when they split? Or?
No. He was still relatively close.
Yeah.
And we saw him here and there. But being brutally honest, I think there was some issues between my parents, which meant that he couldn't see me and my brother as much as maybe he would have liked. But, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
and how did that affect you, like your father passing at that age? Because like being like 15 and losing your dad.
Yeah, I must have been 14 because I think I was in year 9, 10. So again, at the time I was all right. It didn't really affect me too badly.
Yeah.
Because that kind of distance had already started. Mm-hmm. So it didn't hit me like really bad. I was kind of dealt with it. We've got a relatively small family. Mm-hmm. And I've always dealt with stuff myself. So, it wasn't too bad. And I think it's kind of reflected as I've got older.
Yeah.
I've been quite stoic in my thinking and I never got affected by things. I just kind of got on with it. Yeah. Oh, that's happened. Okay.
As men do, yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. So, I think the only negative impact I think it had is as I got slightly older, past that point, I didn't have that figure to really rely on. Like, for example, there was no one there to watch me play football. Yeah. And I was all right at football at the time.
We literally, this is very similar. So yesterday we had I say yesterday, we filmed another podcast yesterday, which will be out the week before or week after, I can't remember, but we literally you were literally talking about how, because I was very, I was very, I had a very blessed upbringing.
Yeah.
Like my dad was there for everything.
Yeah.
And my mum was there for everything. Like I said, I've been very blessed. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Harry's has been very different.
Yeah.
And you literally, just Harry took his son, his eldest, to his first football game the other day.
Oh, wow.
With your dad.
Yeah, with my dad, yeah.
And that's the first time you and your dad have been to a football game together? Or
ever.
Ever, yeah.
First time I'd ever been
we had this conversation about, the same as what you've just said, like that how you missed out on things like that.
Yeah,
with your dad.
I think mine was a bit different though. My dad just decided not to be a part of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't, whether he decided to or not, I don't know. But I mean, he wasn't there. Like around literally the same time or the same age that you were saying.
Yeah.
He just wasn't there. So
it
definitely affected me in the way that you said. Like you kind of like did become a little bit stoic in your thinking and like the way you process certain life events and stuff. Like for me anyway, it makes me double think everything I do with my kids and make it a little bit more special.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, you process, you cherish them moments more selfishly because you're like, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But, from that point, I just thought, like I said, to deal with things my own way was just what had to be done.
Yeah.
I was in quite a toxic relationship, I would say. That's the best way of putting it.
With the parents, with the mum of the two.
Yes. And I put some of the blame, if you want to call it that, from not having both parents because my mum was working a lot, to be fair to her. She had to work, to keep the house over our heads and all of that.
Yeah. So
I didn't have a lot of backup, I suppose, for myself as growing into a teenager. So as soon as anyone else gave me a bit of attention and someone to talk to, then they became a strong part of my life at the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it made me quite weak-willed.
Yeah, quite vulnerable.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I didn't
Is
really have...
Is your brother younger?
My brother's younger, yeah.
Did you feel like, as well, you kind of took on that fatherly role for him?
Yes and no. No, because we used to argue quite a lot.
Right.
Because I always felt he was the golden boy.
Right.
as the younger ones always are.
Yeah. My sister would say the same.
I used to always think that he got away with murder compared to me.
Yeah.
And I know my mum would never admit that. But for me, looking in, I think I felt like she'd learnt a little bit from me.
Yeah.
And because I was quite vocal with how I thought about things, and he wasn't, he probably got an easier life because he was a little bit more, I don't know about submissive, but you know, if I thought that the sky was black, I'm going to tell you it's black. Whereas he'd be like, oh yeah, it is blue. So I probably got myself into more trouble than what he did because I was like that. But in the same way with other people that I didn't grow up with, like I say, I was a lot softer and I used to be led into things. Like I say, like with the children, having them so young, you know, if I was now, I would be like, no, that's not going to happen. Don't think so. Whereas then I was like, okay. And I think partially that's why I was insistent on having my independence, because I kind of knew subconsciously I was doing things I didn't want to do. And I was like, I've got to have my own time as well. So, it's weird when you look back. Now that I'm 10, 15 years older, I can really process.
Definitely.
How it all happened. And, you know, a lot of people will blame one side or blame the other side, but you know, I can see all the different factions of how and why it happened. Really. So,
and at what age did that relationship start to break down, and yours and Sarah's start to? What was the gap between?
Oh, so there's a long gap between those two things. So when Ella was born, I was 22. I kind of already thought, I was like, I kind of banked on that baby coming to kind of make things better. And I think most people know these days that doesn't work. Doesn't happen. So I ran with it still for another few years. So when I got to about 24, 25, I was like, no, this ain't good. So I made the move and left, essentially. Which kind of...
It's a big step to take, isn't it, to come away from that, because we speak about it quite a lot, and it was always the hardest thing you say. One of the hardest things you've ever had to do is decide that you need to come away from that relationship, and by doing that, you're not going to see your son every day. And you talk about that like quite openly, and you say, you know, it's one of the hardest things you've ever had to do. So it's a big step, especially when there's kids involved.
Absolutely.
To make that decision to come away from a relationship like that. But ultimately, now we've spoken a lot, and you talk quite openly about how. Now Mason is eldest. That's a co-parenting situation. And I hope you don't mind me speaking for you.
No, mate. You know more than me, to be fair.
No, but we spoke about on the first podcast about now how he's surrounded by so much more love.
Good. Yeah.
Because
that should be.
Because if there's not that with the parents, then you come away from it, and then now he's just filled with love from his. Your ex-partner's partner is great with him, and your partner's great with Mason, and so he's just like got love all around him now. So
it should be 100%.
It's how it should be. So sometimes making those hard decisions is the best thing that you can do for the kids. Even though
100%. I mean, when I made the break, I 100% knew that the children would be an issue. So following that, I then quite a few different things happened. And being completely honest with myself, and you know, I've had this discussion with Sarah, for example. She knows a lot of this. You know, I did things that, looking back, were really silly, just to stay close enough to see the kids, essentially, and stay too close to that situation. So that affected the next good 3, 4, possibly 5 years, I would say, like different relationships and things like that. And that was a real tough time. Because then every time I got into a different relationship, obviously that was a new problem that I had to deal with. And it'd be another few weeks, months of not seeing them for whatever reason, and being accused of this, being accused of that, being told that I have to do this, otherwise this is going to happen, and all the usual bollocks that toxic.
The dads also have to deal with a lot of that.
I don't want to generalise ladies, obviously, but toxic mothers in that situation do. That was definitely hard. I mean, considering what I'd already been through as a teenager, that was 100% harder. A lot harder to deal with than growing up.
It's the guilt, isn't it, really? It consumes you.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was just like I knew my mum and dad's relationship when I was growing up wasn't great. Like it was quite toxic. So for me, it was just a case of it's essentially the guilt. It's like, and then you said that you find yourself doing stuff just to compensate the fact of what's going on for them, and subconsciously you start acting a different way. And I mean, I've been quite lucky in a sense of I have Mason 50-50 like down the middle. So like even like when I went to the CSA, they were like, there's no point in having a case. It was like, I think it was like I had to pay like 20p a week. Like that was because the way they do it now is like it's that.
And that was on how many hours they could stay and stuff and all that.
Yeah, stuff, but it's like even down to like the meals and stuff that you do now. Like if you give them a lunch or what, like I remember there was a bit of an issue with I had to leave work early one day and pick Mason up on a Tuesday or whatever, or she'd pick Mason up on a Tuesday. And don't get me wrong, the situation I've got now is amicable, and we've always been quite amicable. But when it did get a bit touchy, we went through the CSA and they were like, they just do it to the minute basically, and like any meal that they have. So I mean, I've been quite lucky in that sense, but I definitely can relate to you, like in the sense of like you do things just purely because of the sake of the kids, really.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
As a man should, but
yeah. I mean, I've found myself, which is partially I do blame myself because, especially with my son, he had a few behavioural issues as he was growing up, like just being over hyperactive and all that type of stuff. So, coming from my background with my mum, essentially, I ain't going to put out with that crap. So I was very strict with him. I'm not going to lie. And I really tried to drill it down to him. You ain't going to come to my house and behave like that. That is not happening. And there was a few times where, I'd put him in the porch and say, sit there for a minute. You need to calm down when he'd like hit his sister or whatever. So he'd then obviously go home and be like, oh, Dad did this. And then, all hell breaks loose again and I don't see him for the next however long. So then his feelings are then vindicated and then I'm looked like a complete criminal. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's probably things I did that I shouldn't have done. But in the same way, a child doesn't turn the way that he turned on their own mind. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So he ended up, pretty much detesting the ground I walked on. Yeah. To the point that he was actually in my football team at the time. And he, after a game, he didn't play as much as he wanted, which wasn't my decision. It was actually the other coach that was dealing with it. And he, in front of everyone, bear in mind he's like 9 years old at the time. Yeah. He's like, I'm never fucking playing for this team again. This is a load of fucking shit. And I was like, excuse me? Yeah. I was like, this 9-year-old is swearing at me. Yeah. And obviously, from my background, if a 9-year-old is swearing at you, he's getting a backhand. Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm in front of a load of people, so I can't do that. Yeah. So I just walked off and I grabbed him. I was like, you need to be quiet. And obviously, his mum's come over. Oh, leave him alone. And I'm like, literally cannot do anything.
I'm sure in your childhood, if you had done that.
Oh, my days. I'd have the scars now. Do you know what I mean? Like, that ain't happening. So, and then from that point, he left. And I think I saw him probably 3 more times after that point. Which, to be honest, he didn't really have too much of a problem. But then all of a sudden, he was, he don't want to come, he don't want to come, he don't want to come. And it is what it is. And that was the last time I saw him. So that's been 8 years. Because he's 17 now. So, yeah, I haven't seen him properly since then.
Has there been times you've tried to reach out?
Oh, yeah. Like, because Ella would still come up until relatively recently, which, again, we'll get to very soon. Yeah. I'd always send him letters. Send text messages, obviously, to his mother. So whether he got them or not is, who knows.
That's the thing, you just don't know, do you?
Yeah, so I did send letters and Christmas cards, birthday cards, all the rest of it, for years and years and years. And I just said, look, maybe we can talk. Just complete radio silence, really. Wow. And even going through the whole court process as well, they recognised that he's clearly been influenced, but there's not a lot they can do about it, essentially.
Sorry, so you went to court? Like,
oh, yeah, I've been through to court, like, so many times. Yeah. So, yeah, all through this time was all court proceedings and all that stuff. So, yeah, if anyone needs any help with that side of things, they can always hit me up on the socials, because a lot of people think you need solicitors and all that, and you don't. You can save yourself a heck of a lot of money, just with a tiny bit of knowledge. I did it all myself, and I did relatively okay. Okay, in the end, I didn't get the outcome I wanted, but I think that's more to do with how toxic the other parent is rather than what I did or didn't do legally. Yeah, so, yeah, I've always said to anyone, I've always offered my help to loads of different people. If they ever need any assistance with the court system with children, then just give me a shout. I'm not qualified. I'm not a genius or an expert.
Just while you're on that
little
topic,
bits of knowledge.
What's the Instagram handle that they can hit you up on?
So for that type of thing, I'd say go for me personally, which is Nixy_notorious.
Yeah.
I would say send me a message first because it is on private for obvious reasons. I don't just let anyone on there. So I have to at least think I might know you possibly.
So if anyone is struggling with that, then just hit Nixy up.
Yeah, hit me up on that.
On Instagram at Nixy_notorious and just.
I think that's what it is anyway. If you put in Nixy Notorious,
it'll
I'm sure it'll come up.
So then there's Ella. So how long has it been since you saw her?
So it's now been 3 years.
So she saw the birth of your now youngest.
Yes, well, second to youngest.
Second to youngest, of course.
Yeah, so she did meet her little sister, which was a wonderful moment.
Yeah.
Like, that was the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
To have my youngest daughter with my oldest daughter and it actually happening through all of the hardship it had been to get Ella to that point. Yeah. Because she did still come around most weeks. It was still bloody hard work.
Yeah.
Like, again, absolute nightmare of a parent. Like the type of mudslinging and just general lies is just unbelievable, you know. Even to the point of the day that I'm meant to pick her up, I go around there, knock on the door, no answer. Go around the side door, no answer. Stayed around for 10 minutes. Rang, no answer. Went home. Next day, the police at my door. You was trying to bang the door down and all that type of thing.
Wow.
Loads of different stuff like that. So I won't go into too much detail because I'd literally be here for hours. To say all of the, but that's the type of thing that used to happen. So it was a pain in the backside. It was a nightmare, but obviously I had to go through it for my daughter.
Yeah, of course.
But she met her sister, and then not long after that, unfortunately, it then broke down again because she was round. She hurt her thumb. And we just thought, she's hurt herself. And then she went to school the next day, and then she went back to her mum, and then she took her to the hospital, and it turned out she'd broken her thumb. So then I didn't see her for 3 months because apparently I couldn't be trusted to look after her.
Right.
And then after that, she was due to come round, and then she actually called me and said, "Oh, Dad, I don't want to come round." I was like, "You know what? Do what you want then," because I was at the end of my tether, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I put the phone down. Because I knew that if I'd stayed on the phone, I would have lost my rag, to be serious. And obviously, I didn't want to do that with an 11-year-old. So I then got a text message saying, "Oh, you're well out of order, blah, blah, blah," and all the rest of it. And that was it. That's been the last. So.
And do you think there's that? She obviously sounds like she maybe isn't as influenced, but obviously you don't know, she's younger, so...
So she definitely wasn't influenced. She was, because she used to come around and say a lot of strange things. Like, "Oh, Daddy, is it true you don't love Sarah?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Or, "Is it true that you was going to come round and you didn't?" And like really weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she's 11 years old. She ain't going to be saying that
of
her own
course.
accord. Do you know what I mean? So, it took a lot for her to get to the point where she felt pressured to not come.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she didn't want to come. I think she felt pressure to not come, if that makes sense.
Course, yeah.
Because when I asked her on this phone call, "Why do you want to come?" "I just don't want to. I don't feel like it." I was like, "That's not like you, Ella.
No, yeah.
You always said that you want to come, or there's a reason you don't want to."
Yeah.
And I think it's because the rest of them were going out somewhere, and she was obviously told, "Oh yeah, we're going to do this," and blah blah blah. And obviously, 11 years old, you want to go and have fun, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
It may have seemed boring to come around and see me and everyone else for the weekend.
Do you think there's potential that she could come back around? Like,
yeah. I think if I saw her, she would be happy and want to rekindle the relationship we had.
Yeah.
We had a beautiful relationship, obviously, father and daughter. She was, everything. She was a lovely little girl.
Yeah.
Obviously, the outside influence did start to creep into a little bit of some of her behaviour.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of manipulation and things like that. But on the whole, she was, really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice child to be a parent of. Never got in trouble.
Yeah.
Always really polite. Anything you could ask for, really.
Yeah.
Doing well at school.
Yeah.
Don't know where she got that from, but but yeah, she was a good girl. But so I'd like to think that there's still a bit of that inside her, and she's not too messed up or anything. following that in the last few years. Obviously, she's now coming to her teenage years, and she's only had other influences, so I have no idea what type of girl she's now going to be. But I can only live in the hope.
Like, do you still have any way of like contacting her? Or
not really, no. Only through the mother, which obviously it's not.
You don't even know if he's going to go to her.
Because I've asked loads of times, like, "Oh, does Ella want to come round? Does Ella want to see us?" I did that for about a year, and then it was just always, "Nah, not interested. Nah, not interested." And then after about a year or so, you know, I did give up a little bit.
Yeah.
But
it must have just been having such an impact on your mental health. Like,
I was just thinking, I mean, how does it having that rejection relentlessly coming through, even though you know it's probably coming from a third party, like not directly from the horse's mouth, but how does that affect you? Like, how does that make you feel? Like, even from like
it was
contact with your son to then having to do it again with your daughter.
Yeah, I think that was the catalyst for a lot of what's happened with me mentally after that. When it was first happening, like I say, in my mid to late 20s, you know, I'd have quite a few sleepless nights and, you know, teary nights, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just thinking about when am I going to see my kids again. And then obviously I'd got over it. Had some other traumas with relationships and things. Got over that. And then just as I thought everything was bang on sweet, obviously I was with Sarah at this point. By the way, a little shout out to Sarah, amazing woman.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll come on to that a bit later.
Yeah, we will. She's great. She's a great woman.
So yeah, everything was bang on. At the time, I was doing really well at work. I'd got not a promotion, but I got recognised for doing good work, should we say?
Yeah.
And then boom, obviously the stuff with Ella happened, and I stopped seeing her, and it was like I'd taken 10 steps forward, but another 50 back again.
Yeah.
So that was partially why I left the situation.
Yeah.
Being in that situation for the best part of 8, 9 years, whatever it was, it had taken a toll onto the wall that I had up, to be honest. And not just that, but it was affecting my relationship with Sarah.
Yeah.
It was affecting Sarah massively. Sarah was being bullied. You know, Sarah would walk down to the school with her youngest, and Pete would shout at her out of their cars, which is just unbelievable.
It's disgusting.
Like, even when she was pregnant, though, things about the pregnancy and things like that.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you know, your kids come first.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to think about the situation you're in actually does come first as well. I think a lot of my trail of thoughts sometimes go against the grain of what is accepted in society in that regard.
And sometimes expected,
Yeah, like people say, oh, you can never give up on your kids, man. Never give up on your kids.
Yeah.
But when it's affecting your mental health and when it's affecting your partner and your baby potentially and the other children that you live with potentially, you've got to make a decision whether you're going to do the best thing for your house.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. So as hard as it's been to remove myself away from my first 2 children completely, it's been the best thing for my household, to be honest. But then, like I say, it then was a complete catalyst for my own mental health that just...
Yeah, of course, because it's like... Yeah. It's like a constant like pulling you between, isn't it? Because
exactly that,
how do you make the right decision in that instant? Like, you think you're making the right decision by looking after your household, but still, like, that makes your household happy.
Yeah,
absolutely. But that doesn't make you happy.
No,
because you want the best of both. Like, essentially, you just want to be there for your kids.
Yeah.
And look after your own household, like
exactly that.
So having to come away from or having to disrupt one of those.
Yeah, it was hard. Really hard.
That must have been so hard.
Yeah, so I think I dealt with that okay for about 6 months, I think. And then once Amali was a little bit older, I think things started to settle down. I don't know why or how, and I think this is probably quite a regular thing for people that have suffered mental health. It just come out of nowhere, and I was like, you know, I feel a bit emotional.
Yeah.
I don't really understand why.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, like,
I didn't really think too much of it.
We're both quite open about the fact that we've struggled with mental health, and when I really like think about it, I kind of plodded along for about 5 years.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
I think from around like the age of from now trying to understand it more.
Yeah.
I think my mental health problems kind of started around the age of like 21.
Yeah.
I'm 27 now. But only now have I started to accept it, and only last year have I started to talk about it.
Yeah.
And like that whole, like, I really feel like from like 21 to like 25, 26, like I was really living a lie, like with a lot of things in my life, and it's like you said, like last year, I really started to accept it. But yeah, you kind of have this like feeling, don't you, like in you, and it's like I don't know what this is.
Shift it, can you?
Yeah. And you don't want to like really like talk about it or address it because you think, oh well, I shouldn't because I'm a man. Like,
precisely.
Let's just deal with it.
Yeah.
And you know, you'd probably say the same. You know, like with your mental health. That's probably been going on for longer than you would probably acknowledge.
Yeah, I think mine started from when I was like a kid. Like, if I'm being brutally honest, like when I was just like a teenager, you just accept it.
Yeah, and that's not to say like since a teenager like you've been depressed, or like that's not me saying like from 21 I've been depressed. Like obviously I've had some great times in those years, and like same. You can still be happy. Like we're not taking away from the fact saying that we've been sad for like that whole time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But there has been that like that underlying grey cloud.
You feel it there, kind of.
Yeah, you can feel it, and and now like I've started to accept it. Like then you can start to address like, well, where's that come from? Like,
yeah, exactly that.
And so it's like carry on, but like so I just thought I liked that point really, like saying that.
So like I say, it come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the first person I spoke to was obviously Sarah. Mm-hmm. And I just said, I don't really understand why, but I feel really emotional. Like, it makes no sense. Like everything's going good at the minute. Like the shoe business was banging at the time. I was doing well at work. You know, we've got our daughter, Amalia.
Yeah.
Who was like amazing.
She's like amazing the most beautiful little girl. Like, you haven't seen a picture of her?
No, I haven't.
I'll show you one after. She's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, she's a good girl. Bit of a terror now. She's 3. But yeah, she's an amazing little girl. And I just didn't understand it. So I didn't really think too much of it. And then I got a bit better, like about a month later, and I was like, oh, okay. But then like a month later again, I fell back into it. So I kind of recognised I was doing these waves of like feeling really emotional and like nothing would make me happy.
Yeah.
And then feeling okay or even better than that.
Yeah.
Like, complete opposite, like almost euphoric, just for no reason. I'd be like, yes, bang on, let's go. And then like literally a few days later, I've hit the floor again, and I just couldn't understand what was going on. So I ended up speaking to a few people at work, and I was like, look, this is what's happening. So if my work changes, this is why. And lo and behold, it did eventually start changing. Yeah. I didn't want it to, but I just couldn't focus. And I think at the time, I didn't fully understand what mental health was. And this was only a few years ago, bear in mind. But I couldn't focus on things, and I would literally look at the computer screen and be like, I know my job inside out, but I'm looking at my screen, I literally don't know what I'm doing. Like, I have to really, really focus. And it would take me 5 times as long to focus writing like one sentence, which I should know off the back of my head. I know the info that I need to put in the sentence, but I've got to really concentrate. And being completely honest, obviously having the shoe business and other stuff going on, my mind was just all over the place. So I was fighting, feeling low, depressed and emotional, compared to also feeling like my head's just in a washing machine. I actually don't know what I'm thinking. Like, it was a real battle, I guess, is the best way of putting it. And one of the other things that come out of that, which I think a lot of people don't realise, is how tired it was making me.
Yeah, definitely.
Because previous to that, I could quite easily go to work, come back, be home for about 6:30, and then I would work again until like midnight, no problems, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, do the same again. And I was flying, doing that, no problem at all. I mean, it was the odd night that I worked a bit later than that, and I dealt with it, no problem. But when I started having these issues, I would have a full night's sleep and I would be absolutely shattered. Like, it almost felt like I'd run the London Marathon and I was that tired. Like, I just couldn't function. So
sometimes battling with your own mind is exhausting.
Yeah, absolutely exhausting.
It is exhausting.
And I then started to recognise another pattern was getting migraines and headaches. Yeah. So I would have like a euphoric moment for whatever reason, nothing, just felt it. Then I would hit the floor. Then I'd get a migraine, but then I would then get really tired. Yeah. In any one of those orders, all those things would happen around the same time, but not necessarily in that order. Yeah. Like recently, like literally a couple of days ago, Sarah said I was being a bit snappy, and I was like, "No, shut up. No, I'm fine." Yeah. You know, I felt fine. Yeah. And then 2 days later, I had like a massive migraine, and I was like, I couldn't work for the whole day.
Yeah.
And then like the day after, I was like, bang, like hit the floor, and I was like, I thought I was doing all right, and then all of a sudden it's come back again.
Yeah.
And then Sarah was
completely relate. I completely relate. Not so much like the migraine thing, but like I just like that like wave
of just can't seem to keep it on an even.
Nah.
But
and where would you say you are mentally now?
A lot better.
Yeah. And did you ever seek like professional help?
Yes. So I did. I went to my GP.
Yeah.
Well, I say went to my GP. Obviously, it's been since COVID, so
it
was online. But I spoke to him on the phone, and he sent me off to Talking Therapies, which was all online, talking stuff. And as you know, George, I've been very open on my social media. I'm open about it.
Yeah.
I was open with my colleagues at work. Even the football team I coach, like younger lads, I've been open with the parents.
Yeah.
Like literally anyone I can think to speak to, I've spoken to about it.
Yeah.
Partially because I think it's helped me deal with it, and also, obviously, it's been a lot in the media and stuff, like letting other people know that if they have the same problem, then give me a shout. Then I may not have the answers, and inside I may be thinking, you know what? I'm not that. I don't want to know too much.
The thing is, like
you speaking to me might help you.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah. Like you don't need to be a professional to have a conversation.
No, exactly.
We're far from professionals, and we put out the first podcast on like the Sunday just gone. And like we've been overwhelmed with like either messages of support or people reaching out to us saying like it's so refreshing like seeing like normal people talk about this because like they've been struggling or you know they've got this going on or like it's been amazing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's been overwhelming.
And it's really like given us that, not that we wasn't motivated anyway, but it's given us that extra drive to be like. This is the right thing. This is why we had this idea, and this is why we're starting this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people need to talk about it.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it's actually quite ironic because I because I actually put on my social. I was thinking about doing a very similar thing, and then literally like the day after, he was like, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm doing." I was like,
"Yeah." Okay. I saw your post and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like we're literally like doing the same thing. But I said to you like, you should still do it. Like
100%. Yeah,
you should still definitely pursue it because the more people that talk about it, the better.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So
my problem is just finding the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. That we struggle with that. We have to just like stick to Mondays like normally, innit? Like, just run with it. But
it's been like a podcast studio for the last like 3 months.
Yeah, literally, Harry's front room is now a podcast studio. But yeah, no, it's good to know that like you're getting in a better place. And
yeah, I think so.
And
it's more. I would say when I have my down moments, it's more like once every now and then, rather than before. It was like every other week. I felt like I was like all over the place.
Yeah.
Like I say, speaking about it has helped. I am on. I can't even say the word.
Citalopram. Yeah, I'm on that as well.
Citalopram, which I think has helped. Obviously, at first it was quite difficult.
Yeah.
I imagine you had the same side effects. I had some mad dreams. I was like, I thought I was doing balloons and stuff.
I had the weirdest thing. I was reading through the side effects and I was looking at some of the uncommon ones, and one of them was yawning. And I was like, that's weird, isn't it? And I'd be on FaceTime to you, and I'd be like, I wouldn't stop yawning. I wasn't tired, just kept yawning. Like it was so weird. But yeah, like I've been on them for months now, but it's I can't tell. I don't know.
It's difficult to tell.
It's really hard to tell because I know that I still have the same thoughts as before I was on them.
Yeah.
And like my dosage has been upped as well, and it's like I don't know what's going on here, but
See, what I've found is when I started on it, because I started at quite a low dosage.
Yeah.
The first hit, obviously, you get quite a low period, and in that period, I'd say the dreams were just unbelievable, like
bizarre.
Psychedelic, mad.
So weird.
Yeah, I can't even remember half of them, but just I remember waking up like, whoa.
But very vivid.
I was literally like on that spacecraft playing football with Ronaldo.
And Theresa May.
Like proper mad shit. Like,
it is bizarre,
And then following on that, because obviously I take it every day, there's been times where I've not had it. The last one would fall at the weekend and I would have forgotten to get a repeat prescription. So I'd end up not having it for 3 or 4 days. and then I kind of feel a little bit jittery.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, I feel like a drug addict.
Yeah.
Like, I need to go and get it again. Like,
I'll be completely honest. So
they do say not to come straight off it.
Yeah.
Send you a bit mad. So,
I've got them at home. And the last few days I haven't taken them.
Okay, yeah.
And
so in a few days' time you might start
Hannah's
feeling
been
it.
having a go at me, yeah. But I think, it's not. I'm like 4 days. It's like my 4th day not taking them, and I don't know why. I'm just looking at them in the kitchen. I'm like, I just don't want to take it.
Yeah.
I just don't want it. Yeah. But I know I need it.
Yeah. I think if you start feeling, it depends. Obviously, it affects people differently, doesn't it? So, if in a day or two you start getting those funny feelings, you'll be like, oh, okay, I need to take it. And you might have a couple of days feeling down or whatever, or all over the place is more what I get.
Yeah.
My brain's just like scrambled, can't think of anything. And I'm like, oh shit, I better start taking it again.
Yeah.
Ring up the doctor, can you get my prescription?
Yeah.
Because I've forgotten to do it, because again, being so busy, it's one of those things that you sometimes push to the side, don't you?
And with your feeling better and stuff, we'll go on to the topic of Sarah, like your well, she's not your new partner. You've been together how long?
It'll be 6 years soon. Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah, so
see, we always lose track of how many years it is. So Amalia is 3, so 4, nearly 4.
Yeah,
about 6 years, 5-6 years.
Would you say that she's somebody that's helped with that a lot?
Yeah, massively. She's had her own issues, I'm sure she won't mind me saying.
Yeah.
She's more like anxiety based.
Yeah.
But she understands a lot of the things that I've said and where I've come from, and she's really good at recognising. I still don't believe her when she says it, even though she's right half the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe all the time.
All the time, yeah.
She'll be like, oh, you're being really moody. I'm like, I'm not being moody, you're just being sensitive, you know.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, I am moody.
Yeah.
You do pick it up, like, I know everyone won't mind me saying that.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, I've never gone on medication or seek that professional advice, because my relationship with like medication and my mum and her depression and stuff growing up was like always quite negative. So I've never really explored it. But when Erin, my partner, was at her lowest, she went on medication. I don't exactly know what she's on, but you do notice it more. Like you do spot it. Like it's just like habit, isn't it? Really, like when you spend all that time with somebody, you notice when they're being off straight away.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Sarah, like I say, she's a good woman. It's I think it says a lot that we live and work together pretty much.
Yeah, she's
we've
lovely.
not wanted to kill each other yet.
Yeah,
so.
when we met,
it's very rare.
We met you both at the Himes Collective launch. She's a lovely woman.
Yeah.
And she's got an older kid of her own as well.
2.
Oh, was it 2? Sorry, I thought it was just 1. No.
So her oldest Aidan is 17 as well.
Yeah.
He actually went to the same school as my oldest, so they kind of knew each other. I don't think they were best mates or anything, but they knew each other. And then her other son is 12.
Okay.
So yeah, I am also a stepdad.
Does he live in the home with you?
Yeah.
Have I never met? I've met. Is it Aidan? You say
Aidan's the older one.
It's the older. I've met him plenty of times.
You would have done. So the other one, Finley, he has. I don't even know how to explain it. So he doesn't really like meeting people.
Right. Okay.
For example, he's homeschooled and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's very rare that he actually sees new people.
Is it sort of like a social anxiety type of thing, or
kind of? There's a whole raft of professional words and stuff that Sarah has had to learn and go through.
Yeah.
Which has kind of shown me also what an amazing person she is, like having to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
Because he's a very complex boy in some aspects. In other aspects, he's really good and simple. But some of the issues that he had growing up were really complicated, and even the professionals couldn't work out what exactly was going on with him. So, he unfortunately doesn't go to school. He's homeschooled as much as we can. And he very rarely meets new people.
Yeah.
He certainly won't speak to new people. Like even my mum, he's met loads of times now.
Yeah.
She'll be like, hello, and he's just kind of like...
Yeah, he just doesn't really know how to interact very well.
But with people he knows, he's a good kid.
Yeah.
He loves the little ones. And
brilliant.
Yeah, you can see the little angels inside.
He's good with Amalia and that.
Oh, yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah, he's... Again, because he doesn't fully understand everything.
Yeah.
So... Sometimes we have to tell him, look, you need to calm down, because he'll be running around like a crazy man.
Yeah.
She's free.
Yeah.
She can't run around with you. I want her to go to bed in a minute.
Yeah.
And you're chasing her up and down the hallway.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Half the time it is, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, he's a good boy. The older one, probably don't get on with him as well as possibly I could.
Yeah.
I think deep down he's like really soft or really sensitive.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I can be a bit harsh.
Yeah.
And I don't think he likes that.
Yeah.
Because Sarah is quite soft. So whereas Sarah says something and it'll be, oh yeah, in a minute. And I'm like, no, you fucking do it now.
Yeah.
So that has kind of come into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think he likes it. And I don't like the fact that he doesn't just act on things.
Yeah.
So we don't hate each other or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that we're like best pals or anything like that. But
Yeah.
Like we used to go like watch football and stuff together. But obviously we've been busy, we've not. And like we do talk about trainers, and he helps out occasionally with the trainer stuff.
Yeah.
Shoot stuff. So, but yeah, deep down he's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's not going to get himself arrested or anything like that.
That's good.
I'm pretty sure he only gets up to half of the stuff I did at his house.
Yeah.
The other half, maybe he does in secret.
How old's Ezra now? 3.
No, 2.
He's 2, bordering 3, and I'm sure he'll probably get arrested.
If he doesn't get arrested by the police off of his own back, I'm gonna fucking take him to the station. Like, there's a cell, you stay there now.
Yeah.
That's it, I'm done.
I think my youngest might be like that. He's quite boisterous already. Like I say, there's one, Kyrie. So
Yeah.
He's a little bruiser.
Yeah.
Already, which it's interesting because he's going to have a lot of older people around him. So obviously he's got his sister, so he'll have a bit of femininity there. Like he plays with her dolls and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously he's one. He don't know the difference, does
know
he?
the difference, yeah.
And then obviously he's got me and his 2 older brothers who like throw him around and like kick footballs at him and stuff. So
I'm the same.
I think he's going to be quite. I think he's going to be quite rounded, but I can definitely see the bruiser in him.
Yeah.
You know, the way he like throws himself down slides and stuff already, and like jumps off the bed. Yeah.
No, that's
it's
brilliant.
quite interesting. But yeah, it's all good fun.
That's been a really interesting conversation. I think we've touched on quite a lot of like the mental health side of things of co-parenting and in-house parenting and all of that sort of thing. I mean, that's all new to me as well because obviously like I'm not a dad, but you know I'm surrounded by people who are, and it's just interesting to hear different people's perspectives and just like it's been nice to get to know the real you, instead of Mr. Sneakers Prep.
That's the thing. Most people seem to know me for a reason. So when I was younger, it was because of my car.
Yeah.
Then it was
DJing
and music, and I would see people see me out raving and stuff like that.
Then it was insurance.
Yeah. Hopefully not too much insurance because then I just think I'm a boring bastard. But then it was trainers, and then there's a lot of people that know me through football and things like that because obviously I play a lot of football.
Into your football.
Yeah, I know I don't look like I play football, but I do play football.
You love football.
Yeah, I love my football. I coach a football team. They're now under 18s, so most of them are taller than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we won't talk about that too much. But yeah, I love doing that. It takes a lot of my time, football, but absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's a good distraction from everything else. But I think living a busy lifestyle has always been the one for me. I've always been a busy person. Like when I was younger, I had 2 jobs. Now it's working full-time with the shoe business.
Yeah.
As well as playing football 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah. As well as coaching twice a week. So yeah, busy
love
lifestyle.
Keeping busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
And I think if any advice I could give to anyone apart from obviously speaking, keeping yourself busy I think is one of the main things you can do. If you're sitting at home just watching TV, you're just going to fester in your own depressive mind.
Better to put your energy into something that you enjoy.
Exactly. Because even before I was with Sarah, like I say, I was probably not the best way of dealing with it, but I made sure I was busy doing stuff like I was out every weekend, having a good time, that type of stuff, or I'd go and see different friends almost every day of the week that I wasn't playing football or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, no matter what your situation, if you're single, there's still options for you to do that. You know, even if your group of friends don't like going out in the way you like going out. Yeah. Just try and find new friends. You can do it. Find a new sport and you'll make new friends.
No, it's definitely...
Like, again, with the football side of it, especially on a Monday, for example, I think I've spoken to you about this before. Yeah. I do play what's called man v fat football, so I'll give that a shout out. Yeah. You know, for guys like me that are not as fit as they used to be. Yeah. It's good fun.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that to come down.
My sister's fella does that.
Oh really?
Yeah, man v fat. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know Liam Lockwood, like ginger guy?
No. Where does he do
it? The thing
it?
is, it's loads of different areas. So.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, he lives in Chatham, doesn't he?
Oh, does he?
Yeah, this one Chatham, yeah.
So I'm in the Strood one that's on a Monday. There's also the Rainham/Gillingham one on a Wednesday. And there's also one in Chatham that's starting on a Friday. So
I think that's when he does the Friday one. Or I don't know if he starts, I don't know. Like,
I think there's a Maidstone one on a Friday.
I've been
as well.
waiting for the Canterbury one to come up.
Yeah, I think they're waiting for enough people.
Yeah, well, I think I signed up to the waiting list or whatever for that. So.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, it's good. Good thing about it is, even if you're not particularly a baller, you can still play.
Yeah.
There's no pressure on anyone to be like the next Fat Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. Obviously, it is competitive.
Yeah.
And everyone likes to win, but
it's a community at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It is. Like the whole group is called A Club, but it's really good for, like I say, new friends.
Yeah.
There's extra help to lose weight. I mean, I haven't done as well as I'd like to for my own fault, really. I mean, I've lost about 10 kilos this year.
Yeah.
Well, in the last 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Which could be better, but it is
Still
what it is.
Still
a decent amount.
Yeah, definitely.
Just another like 40 to go. But
Another feeling.
I will get there. But yeah, so anyone that, well, obviously men that want to lose weight and feel like they want to do something different, that's a good shout. Give it a try. You never know.
Shout out to Man v Fat.
Yeah, definitely.
Get yourself signed up. So we'll round up the podcast with our question time from the viewers. I'll let Harry ring off a few. If you want to do like two questions, and then I'll do two as well.
Looking forward to the questions. This will be interesting.
Yeah.
So I'll start off with, what was the one thing you wish you learnt sooner?
Wow. Believe your own mind and believe in yourself.
Yeah.
I think even now I don't believe in myself fully. Going into the shoe business, although it's done good, I would say, for the past year or so that I've been doing it full time, I think if I had real belief in myself and confidence to know what I want to do, it could be a lot further down the line.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest. So yeah, it's definitely something that I would advise everyone is believe in yourself, believe in your own mind.
Yeah.
And again, going back to my late teens and early 20s, if I'd believed in myself and had confidence in myself, I don't think I would have been in the situation that I was in.
Yeah.
Because I just kind of went along with anything. So yeah, that'd be the main thing.
Yeah. That's a great answer. Do you want to ring off another one? Then I'll do two after.
Yeah, okay, cool. What have we got here?
I think that one's a good one.
The thing is, the conversation's covered most of these.
Yeah, top right is a good one.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Wow. I don't really look too much in the future.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know if it's a good thing or not, because I'm not very prepared for the future.
Where would you like to take sneakers prep in the next few years?
So I think, business-wise, I have to be in a premises. I want to do that before next year, really.
Yeah.
Because we are still working from home, and it's a bit chaotic sometimes when you've got, however many pairs of shoes. Lots, should we say?
Yeah.
And trying to stop like babies trying to eat them and whatever else.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen really, honestly.
Yeah.
Just in case I've got your shoes in at the minute. Being a premises, have probably 2 or 3 members of staff.
Yeah.
Not have to do all the work myself.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll take a back step, but just being able to delegate stuff.
Yeah,
so I don't have to stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Doing it would be nice. And yeah, just as long as I can see growth and moving forward, then I think that's the main thing.
Perfect.
I don't think I'm at the point that I want to set a specific goal. Because goals are really good to achieve, but in the same way, I'm someone that if I don't hit it, I'm going to be really kicking myself quite badly that I haven't hit that goal. So I'm quite wary of goals personally. I know it works for a lot of people, but for me, it's working for progression rather than a specific goal. I think is good.
Yeah.
For me personally, in 5 years, I want to have lost that 40 kilos.
Yeah.
At least. Hopefully, not got too many more grey hairs. Hopefully I would have grown my hair again.
Yeah.
Because as we touched on earlier, I've recently cut it off again. Didn't I? I did have dreads, but I got bored and cut them off. And just be happy watching my kids grow up.
Yeah, nice.
Me and Sarah should be married by then.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully be married next year.
Perfect.
Just be a little small intimate wedding.
Yeah.
Because we're not rich.
Yeah. No, I'm getting married next year as well.
And weddings cost ridiculous money.
They are stupid, mate.
So much money.
Like, obviously, me and Hannah are booked for the end of next year, and it's just
it's crazy money, isn't it?
It's scary.
Honestly, I would rather spend the money on my van.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sarah won't like me saying that. Yeah. I'd rather get like an engine conversion of my van.
We are not cutting that out. We're not cutting that out.
Yeah, I'd rather get like a turbo conversion of my van.
Yeah. Or get the electric windows working.
Let's not talk about that. That's a secret.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
No, that's
hopefully
good.
my van will be fixed by then.
Yeah.
I can actually do the windows up.
That's brilliant. No, it's always good to have some things to aim for in it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Who's some of the biggest celebrities that you've cleaned shoes for?
Wow. Okay. So that's an interesting question. So I think the main ones would be. I did do unknown teas once upon a time.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you, George.
Yeah.
I'd probably say he's the most commercially known. I've done a couple of local footballers.
Yeah.
That played for Gills at the time. They're not there anymore because if you know anything about football, then players at that level last about a year.
Yeah.
Max. A couple of influencers. Brandon Myers I've done.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind me name dropping him, but I'm sure he doesn't.
I'm sure he doesn't mind,
yeah, mine's gone blank to be honest.
Yeah.
They're probably the
Unknown
main
T's probably one that I recognise that you did, and he's all over the place at the moment.
Yeah.
He is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, exactly that.
It's mental. I think he just did the campaign for Palace and
he did,
and Calvin Klein. He's done Louis Vuitton. He's all over the place.
Pretty big time stuff.
He did a few shoes, didn't he? About 4 or 5 pairs.
Yeah.
He did some Dior's and stuff, didn't he?
Dior's, some Jordan 1s.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few pairs of Dior's, I think.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, you're right.
Jordan 1s, so.
And then we'll round off the. I've got 2 questions in my head, but I only want to ask one of them. But I might just do both. I'll do both.
Far away, go on.
The first one is, what is a song that means a lot to you and why?
Okay, that's a very good question. And the first song that always pops into my head is an old garage track, because again, I'm in my 30s, so I'm a garage boy at heart.
Yeah.
Wookie, Battle.
Right.
And the lyrics, every day is like a battle, but we will overcome.
Yeah.
And ever since I heard the tune, it's a banging tune.
Yeah.
But that specific line of lyrics always resonates with me, battling for everything that I have done in my life. I think it just hits home pretty strong. Like I was saying, it's an absolute banger. Yeah. Absolute banger. And I've got it on vinyl, which I love.
Perfect.
So, the baby tried to pick the vinyls up the other day. And I was like,
get away.
Listen, son, I love you, but...
not yet. Not yet.
You're going to cause yourself problems there.
And then the last question, which we don't necessarily want an explanation. We just want a straight answer. And then at the end of the series, we'll tally up. And would you rather have more time or more money?
Right now, time. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. I could definitely do with more money because, like I say, business is good, but I'm not going to be retiring anytime soon. But time, definitely. Even though I do make a lot of time for things I want to do, which partially was one of the reasons also why I went into doing the business from home. You can never replace time.
That's a great answer.
A lot of people should know that. Yeah,
it's a great answer.
But I think a lot of people, it takes them to get to my age, mid-30s, to realise it.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
No, well, thanks for coming on.
No problem.
Really appreciate it.
Much,
I know we had a bit of trouble actually organising it, but we got there in the end, and it's been.
I've been
really...
super quiet this episode because I'm fucking exhausted. Non-stop all day.
But no, that was a really great podcast. I enjoyed that. I'm really looking forward to putting that one out there for the people to listen to. So
I hope it helps a few people and people see a little bit more about me.
Absolutely.
All I do is just sit around shoes all day. I do have to give one shout out because I promised them I would.
Far away.
Because I saw him today. I got a shout out the barber man.
Oh yeah,
Barber Alex.
Big Alex.
Nico.
Yeah.
Obviously you know Alex.
Yeah. Great.
I was like, I had to get the trim done today.
Yeah, he got you looking fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
And I did say, and I'll compliment him on the podcast. He's looking great.
He is.
He's in great shape.
I'm very jealous.
Yeah,
very jealous.
I'll show you this guy afterwards. But he did like a 10-week, 12-week plan thing.
Yeah.
He's just got absolutely shredded. So fair play to him. and I was really invested in his. He had like a cheat day.
Yeah.
And I was messaging. Did you watch it?
He must have had about 10,000 calories in a day.
I was so invested in what he was eating. I was messaging him on Instagram like, I can't wait to see what you're eating next. It was brilliant. But yeah, no.
And George is where half our problem comes from.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. But yeah, no. Shout out to Alex. But yeah, no. Thanks again for coming on, man. And we'll round it out there. Really so thanks everyone for watching. Follow us on Instagram at The Average Joe's Pod and TikTok at The Average Joe's Pod. And yeah, subscribe and like. So thank you.
No worries.